Hi guys, Sifu Scott Tarbell here, Wuxia Martial Arts. Today we'll be taking a look at some Wing Chun strategies using the basic hands coming out of the Siu Nim Tao and coming out of the Chun Q. So remember, Siu Nim Tao means little idea form, so it's like programming your body to do kind of basic hands that become relevant in Wuxia, the free fighting, right? And also become relevant later on in your Chi Sao, your sensitivity, and for the clinch training and everything like that. So for the last 4 weeks, for the last month, we've looked at some clinch strategies. Some of that stuff came from Chun Q. Some of that stuff came out of the Siu Nim Tao. So we're going to be moving forward, and we'll be taking a look at how can we use some of these basic hands that we see in terms of the shape of the hand, specifically for free fighting, right? Some of these old school Hong Kong style drills. Now, a couple of things to understand before we begin this, this series that we'll be doing over the next few weeks. One is that within Wing Chun, particularly in our style of Wing Chun, originally you had Grandmaster Wong Ting, Hong Kong based, and Grandmaster Wong Ting is very old school, right? So a lot of his stuff that he taught is almost karate-esque, you know, like he would teach something and he would just have you drill that one thing like for the whole class. You know, maybe you would add stepping, maybe you would add punching, but it was just precise and perfect. And, you know, Sifu Jeff always says repetition makes the master. And that really comes down from Grandmaster Wong Ting, like that they would just make you work and work and work. You know, and that's the idea behind Wing Chun is it's not meant to be a system that has like a bazillion techniques, you know, that takes you like 40 years to become a master of and learn. It's meant to be something that you could learn very quickly, train really, really hard, and because of its directness and simplicity, you could use it to defend yourself quickly, all right? But like I said, you come here, you get 10%. Home, you train hard, that's 90%, okay? So with that said, let's get started. Okay, so from here, we're gonna start in character 2, just like this. Now, the main stance that we'll be using today is the Junma, right? And when we use the Junma, also known as side wing stance, because you're turning sideways, right? The big thing to think about, the important thing to think about, is that when I'm doing this, I have the adduction between my knees. And when I turn, it's not both feet turning at the same time. This. One foot is already turned. All I have to do is release the other foot and then I come back. So I'm still keeping the adduction of my hips turned. So what I like to do is when I'm in character 2, I'll start this by turning my hips. And then as my hips turn, the leg will follow. Okay, so with that said, that's going to be the main stance that we're using today. And we're taking a look and I'm just going to angle this down a little bit. So when we're doing this, right, the first one that we think about here comes from the Siu Nim Tao when we go Chun Q. When we go Gao Cha Tun Sao, it means double crossed palm, palm up hand, like this, all right? And then we have the Gun Sao, like that, and then the Kwan Sao, and we put it away. All right, so from here, if we draw the wedge line, and I bring one hand back to make the Wu Sao, and I have one hand forward to make the Man Sao, and remember, if you're looking in the mirror, it should be on one line so you don't see the Wu Sao really, okay? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that Man Sao up to make it palm up. And I shift. Now, when I turn and I'm borrowing this guy's power, whether it be inside of his punch or outside of his punch, right? I don't want to try to jump again. So it's not like karate or taekwondo where I'm trying to time it. It's that I make connection with this, and then as he's pushing through, just like a turnstile, I borrow that power, and then I add my own power at the end. Now, you can see here that when I'm doing this, right, that the position of the hand, you'll see often other Wing Chun styles will really be forceful with the hand like this, but we follow the rules of the Siu Nim Tao. So when I go here, if I just turn to the side, I have about one fist away, that's very soft, like this, and then I'm punching. So if I was punching and I turn to the side, the punch goes straight like that, so it doesn't angle off, okay? So from here, we start with this one. So palm up, turn the punch. I come back to the center, palm up, and I turn the punch. Palm up, turn the punch. Palm up, turn the punch. So when we have the individual hand, the Tun Sao, right, just means palm up hand, but now when I have the punch, right, we call it Tun Da. Da means to strike, right? So we try this for a few. 1, 2, pause in the middle. 3, 4, pausing in the middle. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just like that. Okay. So that is number 1, is to work the Tun Sao. Now, For the more advanced students, of course, later on, this video, most of my advanced students are here in the school. So these videos are really for a lot of the beginners that are not able to make it right now. That's a good reference for you advanced students and intermediate as well. So when we're doing this later on, then you can step, and you can punch, and you know that, back, thumbs out, step and punch, just like that every time. Okay, so now with the idea of continuing to turn to get power, right, with Junma here, and to hide my center line. So if this guy is punching, if I kind of slip to the side, I turn to the side a little bit like this, right? One, it elongates my main weapon here. I can lean and get a little bit of strike, it's longer, this one. So if you see from the side, if I just punch straight, right? But if I turn, it helps me to be a little bit longer, and because I'm turning my hips, right? It gives me some power here as well, just like that. Right? But also it serves the purpose of hiding my center line. So when the guy wants to hit me, if I can turn a little bit like that and get off of the center line, this is always a good thing as well. So for the beginners, we really advocate the use of getting off the center line and trying to be outside instead of staying inside. Inside is more advanced later on, but for beginners, it's very dangerous to try to face somebody head on and inside. So it's always good in the beginning to try to be to the outside. All right, so the next one is from here. We go forward just like this. You can see when I do this, right? So it's not close to my body like that. It should be one fist away, and this is going forward. Now, so the gun style, right? The splitting hand is like an axe. So when the guy goes to punch my body, right, it should be that it goes straight down. So from here, you can practice this one hand go here, and I chop straight onto the center line. You see the elbow stays in the same place, but the arm just goes straight down and forward. So it is a linear strike. Yeah, this is not a block. A lot of people confuse this and they think like in karate, and you can block to the side or something, but actually in Wing Chun, we have the saying, there are no blocks. We're not blocking. We're trying to intercept and either flow, or we're trying to do damage to the strike that's coming in. Gun Sao is a good example of that. So from here, right, from the Gao Cha Tun Sao, the crossed double hand, I can take one away and I can just go straight down, bring it back, straight down, bring it back. You can try that with both, straight down, right, and bring it back. That's what's nice about the Siu Nim Tao, is it shows me where I'm supposed to be in terms of space and time, right? And then when I go here and I finish, it's the same position. And so wrist bone is on the center line here, right? And the hand is past the center. All right, now, same in the Siu Nim Tao, how we come to the center and we punch like this. Right? So if I was doing this stationary, right, I could be here and I go, and they both go linear and they're both pretty soft. Okay. Soft. Right? I switch to the side. Soft. You can see from the side, they both go straight. Okay, so then the next piece to add is the turn. Right? So if this guy is punching pretty much straight, like a body shot, or if he was doing like uppercut or something like that, right? This thing works really nice to kind of like chop him down. So I go here, right? I drop it straight down, and when the door opens, you see this, when the door opens, you can see the fist. That's the time that it goes forward, and then I shift, and I'm still in Junma, just like that. Okay? And then I come back. Same thing, right? Gun Sao starts going down, punch goes forward, and these are simultaneous here. And you notice I'm coming back to the center every time when I do this. One foot is turning at a time. Now, when you do this, I would say, you know, in the beginning, don't worry about speed or power. Just see that you can get your form very clean. Your back form is very clean. If you get confused and you're like, I don't know where I should be, if you come back to the center and do this, and then just turn, like this is where you should be. So if I came back, I would be on the center line. So what you can do is you can take both of these, and for the advanced students, of course, yeah, you could do this and you go boom, and then step in, this one, and step in, Step in. Yeah, and the stepping from here, right, it could be that I shift and step straight in like that, right? Or it could be that you step opposite. And I would say play with both of those because in the real fight, in the real situation, you know, somebody attacks you, I mean, it's good for you to be ambidextrous and be able to, you know, punch, you know, across your body sometimes where maybe it's not so comfortable. And then also to be able to punch, right, with the same hand and same foot forward. I would play with both of those options. There's no cut in stone, you know, carved in stone the way something should be, like that. So play around with both options and see what works for you. All right, so once you can do that, then you take these two and put them together. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that, and then you go back to the center. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you notice what I'm doing, I start to go through the center line a little bit faster, right? So I'm still going through it, but I just don't stay there and pause anymore. Right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, okay. So that is part 1 of how to use the Junma, right, with the turning stance, right? This Junma turning stance here, how to get a little bit of power. So you have 2 very, very different hands from the Siu Nim Tao right from the beginning. Right? You have this very passive yin, right, borrowing power, this one. And then you have this yang, very aggressive gunsao, splitting hand, right, that tries to do damage. So, you know, right away in the Siu Nim Tao, you get introduced to 2 different types of energies, right? You get this, the soft. This one's a little bit harder. And then you get this one, so the borrowing. So it kind of lays out some of the basic principles right in the first set of the Siu Nim Tao. So that is your homework. Next week, we'll be taking a look at some of the other hands that are coming from the Siu Nim Tao, some of the pops and side palms, high-level defense, some gums, some juts, and gunsao. And then for the more advanced people, we'll also be taking a look at, you know, how do we use some of the bong sao, how do we use the jump sao in conjunction with punching, the cow sao in conjunction with punching, with all of these different hands. Okay. Some other kind of cool things that we can do. But for this week, your homework is to really just try to get good at turning and punching. And if you can do that, then adding the stepping and punching, right? And then the gunsao and punching. And then once you can do that, stepping in as well. And then if you wanted to try to connect some of this stuff to like the clinch series that we've been doing, you could always take this here, boom, boom, and you start to work all of this stuff. Right? So anyway, that is your homework for this week. Train hard. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. I'm always available and have fun. All right. Take care, guys.